Brokers and funders always need ways to produce more revenue, drive leads, improve their marketing abilities. And today, my guest on the podcast is going to help you with that. He is Nick Dejsus, CMO of Meridian Leads and now Lendfax. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. Glad you can come on. You have a lot of things going on. You've been with Meridian Leads for quite some time. We're going to talk about what Lendfax is, your guys' new brand. It's a data vendor marketing agency. We're going to talk about some tips and tricks on what guys should be doing and what they should talk to you about. But first, let's start off with a little bit more about yourself. Like, what have you been doing the last couple of years with Meridian? How are things working there? And then we'll get into the other things.
Yeah, for sure. So, as previously mentioned, I'm the CMO of Meridian. So, anything to do with the paid marketing campaigns, the ad spend side, I typically handle. So, I guess for the past 3 years now, I've cultivated a pretty large historical experience of ad spend under management. It's I think a little bit over 8 figures now. Through that time, of course, there was tons of mistakes that were made, tons of learning lessons, tons of ways to optimize our funnels to service the customers that we have in our network. And obviously, couldn't have done it without the Meridian team backing me and giving me the opportunity to distribute to the large network of direct funders and brokers with sales teams that we work with. So now that we've fully mastered it, we're introducing the brand Lendfax. Purpose of this brand is specifically to be the front-facing consumer slash lead or merchant facing, where a lead comes in, they are immediately asked questions, pre-qualified, and matched with the direct funders and brokers who plan to facilitate the financial services, the business loans, the merchant cash advances, working capital line of credits, SBAs, you name it, etc. So that's basically what I'm here presenting today. What I've been doing is just honestly rolling up my sleeves, head down, working and building every single day, communicating with the great Meridian team, the software engineers that we have, and then also the relationships that we have, making sure that customers are happy and satisfied, using their feedback to make things better. So I'm excited for today.
Very nice. So let me, kind of get back to Meridian for 1 second, and that will kind of lay out the differences then with Lenfax. So Meridian, if you were to say that your Meridian's kind of the one-stop shop for lead gen marketing services, I guess, for business loan brokers, funders who have an inside sales team, and whoever else. And then, so talk about that more specifically. If people are coming to you on a day-to-day basis, what kind are they ordering? What services are they, procuring from you? And then, essentially how that's going to differentiate from Lenfax.
For sure. So I think Meridian, obviously backed by tons of time in the industry, I think 15, 16 years, and obviously through that time building trust and credibility to facilitate the services. On one side is, of course, the lead acquisition or merchant acquisition for the ISOs, brokers, and funders with direct sales teams. Meridian's a verified data vendor, so we're aggregating, data from various methods and selling this data to customers for them to use for their own internal marketing efforts, whether that may be direct mail campaigns, email campaigns, dialing campaigns, and so on. I think for the most part, that's I guess a good gist of how Meridian's been put into the place we are now to
Okay, so
create
they
this new
just to
product.
be just to dial in a little bit more. So that could be any type of lists that are from like DMB, barely, kind of filtered, but quality businesses, all the way to very filtered revenue size, live transfers, live leads, someone who just filled out forms online, to then these other email marketing services, correct?
Exactly. So
Okay.
we can get very sophisticated with the filtering. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And then you saw some things that were kind of needed, but brokers and funders and whoever else may be asking about, talking about what they wanted. So then this idea of Lenfax came to mind and you started working this, and you guys already officially launched it.
Correct. So Lendfax has been one of the paid ad brands that we've been utilizing for the past 2 years now across various, but it was, I guess, the name that resonated with us all most, and the one that we decided to over the next 6 months to 12 months consolidate all of our ad spend and prioritize this brand. And the purpose of it because it was because of the gap that we felt we've seen in between the direct funders, the direct brokers having challenge finding consistent volume of hand raisers, of merchants saying, of merchants inquiring and having intent that need these business loans.
And so what else, like what should people know about LendFax? If they're looking to what, just get more applications in, more brand awareness, what is it, would you say, in that regards?
Yeah, for sure. I think for the broker or direct funder with the sales team side, Meridian's has so much experience, and all we do every single day is lead gen and marketing to acquire more customers and more leads to sell as a product. So since we've mastered this and we have the experience, and it's directly in our wheelhouse of what we do every single day, we figured we'd make it easier on the brokers, and instead of them struggling and trying to figure out what paid channel to utilize, trying to figure out conversion optimization and pixels and landing pages and all the stuff that goes into marketing and acquiring new business, new merchants to fund, we figured we'll take care of that problem completely. And basically, we have programs where we can guarantee a pre-qualified, 100% compliant, opted-in lead with sufficient time in business in revenue, who has interest in revenue-based financing, to be opted in and distributed to the buyers, the brokers and funders that are trying to fund these merchants. So I think that's probably the gap or the inefficiency that we're tweaking or fixing is we are doing all the front load pre-qualification work on the consumer or merchant side to get them to inquire, pre-qualify themselves. And then once that user has compliantly submitted their information, we're now using that data, that attribution to point and shoot and distribute that lead to the correct partner or correct partners that are trying to acquire those customers.
And you have, close to 200 active buyers in your network, right? What do the best performing brokers and funders do differently when working with a lead vendor, like LendFax versus, the ones who struggle?
For sure. I love, love, love this question. The reason why is just because anytime, like, I started at Meridian and Lendfax in sales. So anytime I got a customer in, that's the consultative approach that I would have to ask is, what current marketing efforts do you have in place? What marketing systems, what methods do you utilize to, attend to these leads and convert them at the highest probability? And I think the two biggest factors that come into play here is firstly, speed to lead, and then secondly, technology. And to explain further, I think speed to lead is, of course, important in the world of diminishing attention spans, right? There's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's all these things where there's quick dopamine and fast intent where there's a lot of moving parts and distractions in everyone's day-to-day life. And especially as a business owner who's operating inside of their business, I'm sure that there's struggles with having the right time to attend to a matter like speaking to a trusted business loan broker or funder to get the funds they need for their business. So that's the first one is speed to lead to ensure that these brokers or funders are getting in front of these merchants. And then secondly, impressions, staying in front of the merchants. So that means tech and infrastructure, not only for automated drip SMS sequences, automated emails to help them stay in front of the merchants and help guide the merchants that their company is the best company to work with because they can educate them at what product's going to work best and grow their business. But then secondly, in terms of tech and systems, AI is growing very strong. If you have more data, if you have more attribution, if you have an infrastructure and systems in place to track what is converting, what the sales team is doing, different data points that can help you make more informed decisions,
Mhm.
those customers tend to perform the best because now they're communicating this information to us as the marketing company. And now it allows me or someone on my media team to use offline or online conversion APIs to train the marketing systems to serve the ads in front of the right audience. Therefore, it's a positive feedback loop. So that's probably the two main factors, irregardless of, I feel honestly, industry is just for sales is speed to lead and systems and tech in place.
Is there certain numbers in mind for, their return on investment on whatever, kind of services that you may be offering, and that, could be paid ads, there's kind of a benchmark out there like 3 to 1. Is that kind of what you would typically, inform customers of?
Yeah, so I'm very direct. So I always say it's ultimately contingent upon the skill set and the company that's buying the leads, of course. But historically, the numbers that we have for the customers that get success, I'll explain it in two ways. On the shared model, which meaning it's shared up to three times every lead that's generated, is every 100 leads that a customer receives, they can expect to close one to about three deals. Average deal size is going to be 33K to 43K, and that's historically over 8 figures of ad spend experience. And of course, whether they're a broker or direct funder, commission or payout or profit or revenue in is of course going to differ. So I'll allow the
Sure.
viewers of this to figure out those numbers, I guess, for their own internal needs and their averages.
Yep.
And then on the exclusive side, which we have about 9 to 11 pretty large brokers, super brokers, and direct funders that are doing this with us. Um, Once again, it varies, but historically, a customer can expect about a 1.25x to about at the highest, 3x ROI. So that means after expenses. So revenue minus expenses, profits. So it's a lever that can be pulled, and it's one it's definitely growing for sure.
Okay. And is there something deeper that you want to talk about, like of what you guys built, kind of the, what's under the hood? Can you talk about anything else?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm very proud of it. It's been 2 years in the works, and with marketing there, it seems very simple in the front end, but in terms of maximizing the dollars that you're spending on advertising and making it consistent, what I've learned and what we've learned is we'd have to hire software engineers and a back end dev team to help us not only maintain the front end infrastructure and the enterprise grade lead gen forms, which I'm very proud of because they're beautiful. They have conditional logic and filtering to ensure that we're capturing the proper data and feeding it back into our marketing systems. And then on the back end, once again, there's conditional logic to um, point and shoot and choose specific partners or lenders that would probably best match or best service that lead that merchants needs for financing. So that's one part of the business that's under the hood that I'm very, very proud of. And then secondly, I think what's imperative for our company and probably all lead gen companies or marketing companies is the lead distribution aspect. There's a lot that goes on with lead distribution, and organization is necessary. So we have a back end enterprise grade software, beautiful naming convention for partners and campaigns and logics to, of course, not only organize the lead, filter them out, but validate them and distribute them. So that's probably the two big ones that come into play. And then I think the last thing under the hood is obviously just a central system, like a marketing system that we can communicate back and forth with the customers to ensure that, hey, this lead is approved, or denied, converted, opt in, whatever the case may be, tracking the statuses transparently for our customers, where customers communicating the information back to us enables us to be better performance marketers when feeding the information back into the systems to serve ads in front of a better audience. So that's probably the three main that I'm most proud of, and that's under the hood, and why we're growing at the scale we are and succeeding at the scale we are, and plan to focus on these for the everlasting future and optimize them day by day.
Okay. And what would you say, kind of the market looks like right now, right? So for whether it be volume, lead quality, what are people complaining about, so to speak, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. So for the most part, I'd say across the board, intent is there, quality is there, volume is there. That's of course when Meta and let's say like hosting platforms like AWS are playing nice with us, right? So there's maybe some off days where Meta engineering is down or
Mm.
AWS is down, and that, of course, could you imagine we take a big hit on days like that, which they're very far and few in between. I'll be clear on that, but we had our experience and we have guardrails and systems in place to nullify that those chances of happening at all costs when they do. But for the most part, quality is there, volume is there, intent is there. All I can say this by all of our exclusive customers, they tend to after 3 months tend to scale the budget 10, 20, 30%. yeah, month over month. So it's definitely a lever that can be pulled, as aforementioned. It's just making sure we can balance the quality with the volume because the more that you spend, obviously, there might be a dip in quality there.
The dip in quality, is that because of I don't know, inaccurate audience or something, or like how does that work?
Great question. So, I think a lot of it, like in October, at least my understanding and how I've played it and all the advertising groups I'm in, is there's an Andromeda update or Andromeda update that Meta had October 10th. It kind of swapped the way you're running ads on Meta and these various platforms in the way that it's incentivizing advertisers to push out more creative volume, and then Meta's AI is choosing the actual creatives that are the champions or the best performing and funneling a majority of the spend there. Thus, what happens is, let's say an ad is a champion and it's crushing it and it's consistent. Obviously, a lot of the spend is funneled there. So now all the leads that are coming in, let's say instead of 1,000 leads a month, there's 5,000. Let's say, for example, with the more volume that is available, there's a lot more clicks and more chances of viewers, leads, merchants not reading things clearly, not being attentive, lying about their revenue, self-reporting inaccurate data, competitors maybe doing an attack to launch and trying to submit spam bot leads with fake Russian email generated
Mm.
platforms to push through the system. So I've seen it. I've seen everything under the sun, and we have guardrails in place to avoid the quality dips and maximize conversions. So those are examples of dips in quality.
Okay. Yeah, the bots, the AI, guys, just turn them loose. Okay. All right. So in regards to Lenfax, anything else that you want to share, about Lenfax, and then we'll get into a couple other things and get you out of here.
Yeah, for sure. So I think associated like with the launch and the purpose of us kind of, focusing on this brand more is just because what we've noticed is a big problem is that the outbound marketing efforts that or let's say more traditional to business loan brokers and direct funders with sales teams like SMS marketing, email marketing, outbound dialing and dialer systems have seemed to be regulation is definitely coming into place where carriers are now blocking, throttling, spam blocking, filtering. There's, I think, an iPhone update like 26.7 or something like that, where there's now an AI screening where that person has to go through an AI and tell them their name and the purpose of their call. So I think the timing is perfect of introducing Lendfax brand. It's just because compliantly we're doing all the front workload for these, business loan brokers and funders,
Hmm.
where we're generating that lead, pre-qualifying that intent, and then compliantly delivering that lead to the customer. That hand raiser now has the ability to get educated on their financing needs and grow their business and get the access to the capital. And that broker or funder does not have to deal with the headaches involved with the stifling regulation and stifling tech that's come into play to screen them out.
But there's definitely been a hardcore look at different things, especially like the SMS, right? So text messaging, there was whatever the law was passed, I think it was last year, or maybe it just enacted last year. You guys don't necessarily do the SMS, right, for clients, right? So other people have their software. Just what is your, though, feedback or information that you gather from the clients on how they're doing with SMS, overall?
For sure. So I think what I've kind of collectively with the various buyers, at least I work with myself, a lot of these brokers and funders are spraying and praying, as well as having, I guess, special sauce or proprietary softwares that they have in place. I know, a few platforms that do like short code SMS marketing, which is a little bit of different delivery method than the regular 10 DLC registration SMS marketing. That's been flying under the radar a bit. And then these various clients have different loopholes and ideas they have in their mind to send out mass marketing. I think the one big, big, big thing is avoiding, TCPA lawsuits and things of this nature with these guerrilla marketing tactics and outbound efforts.
Right.
Hence, obviously, why we're staying away.
Yeah. So is there something that you do? You do scrub everything against the proper litigants, for or whatever.
For sure.
TCPA.
So on the
Yeah.
yeah, so on the Meridian side, of course, the as the data is distributed, we DNC and TCPA scrubbed everything. And then on terms of the Lendfax side, what's compliant and beautiful I love about Lendfax is that anybody that submits their information on our lead gen forms has to opt into our terms and service privacy policy checkbox as well as our partner list. Therefore, compliantly, even if they are on a DNC list, they cannot pursue with litigation due to the opt-in status to us and our partners.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the future plans of Lenfax. Years, whatever it be, months, years ahead. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, so I think there, of course, is an existing massive opportunity in the business loans, revenue-based financing space, and Meridian has done the front load of that work for Lenfax of having the relationships, having the trust, having the buyers, having the network in place to really grow in the business loans, revenue-based financing industry, business funding industry. I think future plans and what we've have been focused on behind the scenes is segueing into adjacent industries. So this means like personal loans and consumer debt, mortgages, HELOC, refi, purchases, etc. Um, you name it. I mean, I think the adjacent financial service industries that are maybe more consumer facing or dealing with mortgages are very, very lucrative. And of course, there's big names like LendingTree and NerdWallet that have consumed a lot of a good amount of market share in that space on the consumer front facing side. I think there's plenty to go around and for us to capture firstly on the business loan side and then segueing secondly into the consumer side. So I'm very excited for that. I think we're growing at a very fast pace and we're only hiring more software engineers and getting better tech and getting better systems in place. So it's only a matter of time before we're claiming a large market share and being a real top dog and competitor in this lead aggregation marketplace financial service space.
Great, love to hear it. I'm eager. I'm gonna look forward to see what you guys do. And I know in the very near term, like next week, you're gonna be at Funders Forum and Brokers Expo down here at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino and Resort, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
you've been
I'm.
before, I think, and yep.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm excited, man. I think the shows at Funders Forums, Brokers Expo are great. I think your Funder Intel, the expos are fantastic. The get-togethers that we have. So
Yeah, our
anytime we
events
can,
quarterly. Yep.
for
Thank you.
sure, anytime that we can, communicate with customers, build better relationships. As mentioned 10 times over of this podcast, the relationships are necessary for us to grow. And there's nothing better than a handshake and a face-to-face conversation and fully growing closer and having customers but actually friends that are in the industry and that you can trust and work with because that's at least to me the most fulfilling is helping customers grow, delivering a good product and making our customers happy. And so far I'm happy to say that for the most part we've done that and we've definitely contributed a lot of the customers relationships due to your shows and the Funders Forum Brokers Expo, of course.
Well, appreciate that. Yeah, I was thankful for you guys coming to our events, Funder Intel's networking events and Funders Forum I'm a part of. And I'm looking forward to actually emceeing this year again. And so Dan Marino is the keynote. So if you are watching this, you should be on time to where you can still get tickets. All right, Nick. Well, appreciate the time. Thanks for coming on. And I will talk to you soon.
See you in a bit. Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Thanks.